Welcome to another session. It's been a while. I know that in my last video I promised to do the perimeter and area of plane shape, but over the week I kept getting serious requests for me to do change of subject of formula. So today we'll be looking at change of subject of formula, but I promise that within the week I'll be doing short videos of plane shapes and the area and perimeter of plane shapes, and I'll be posting it. So my subscribers, you have to please forgive me. Let me do this for now, but I promise you I will get you the area and perimeter of plane shapes. Now, change of subject of formula. What are you asked to do when you are told to make a variable the subject of formula? Now, it simply means make that particular variable to be the variable that is being worked on. For example, for the equation, y is the variable that is being worked on. So y is the subject of formula. But now you are being asked to pick another variable from that equation and make it the variable that is being worked on. It seems complex, but it's actually very simple. You just have to know some basic things. And one of the basic things you have to know is how to work with multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction of fraction. If you have any issues with that, you can check the first video I uploaded in this channel. The link will be posted in the description box and you can understand that. Another thing you need to know is when you have when you have equal to in between two fractions, what you have to do is cross multiply. That means the numerator of the right hand side of the equation will multiply the denominator of the left hand side, and the numerator of the left hand side will multiply the denominator of the right hand side. Simple. I think that is basically all you really need to know when solving change of subject of formula. Without much ado, let's dive right into it. Now, the first question is capital letter arrow all over small letter arrow is equal to capital letter H or small letter h. And from here, I will have to make the small letter h my subject of formula. Now, let's watch the magic unfold. I have equal to in between two fractions, so I do what? I cross multiply. So what it simply means is h will multiply arrow to give me arrow h is equal to, and arrow will multiply that to give me arrow capital letter h. Remember, I'm making h set of formula. And like I explained in the first video, just do the inverse of what the equation is doing. Now, h is what I want to make the formula, but it has a coefficient arrow multiplying it. So I need to remove this arrow from here by doing the inverse of multiply, which is divide. So I divided by arrow, I divided by arrow. Now this arrow will cancel this arrow, h will become arrow h over arrow. And this is the formula or the new formula when h is now the subject of the formula. It's easy, right? I told you it would be. Okay, now let's try the number 2 question. Number 2 says y is equal to mx plus c. This is actually the formula to calculate for a straight line graph slope. Alright, now let's do this. Y is equal to mx plus c. I have to make x the subject of formula. Now the first thing I have to do is look at this right hand side. I have my m here that is being disturbed by the coefficient x and plus c. So what I can do is take plus c out of here first. Now if I do that, I will have y plus c comes this way, becomes minus c is equal to mx. Remember, I told you when the signs, positive and plus and minus crosses the equal to sign, they interchange. That means when plus cross, it becomes minus, and when minus cross, it becomes plus. So now, here it becomes easy. This is the coefficient of m, and it is multiplying. So I divide by x, x cancel x, and m will be equal to y minus c over x. Very simple. Very, very easy. Okay, it becomes more tricky, or it has more tricky steps when it comes to square and square root, and that's why I brought in some questions on square and square root. Okay, so let's try this. Number 3. Is equal to mgh plus half mv squared, and I'm asked to make v my subject of formula. So the first thing I have to do is write this very well. So I have mgh plus, now 1 over 2 times mv squared will give me mv squared divided by 2, which is half of mv squared. The same thing. So here I have a fraction that is being, or that has an addition in between them. So I have to do what I would do for addition of fractions. So here I will say E is equal to, I take the LCM of the denominators, which is 2. 1 into 2 is 2. 2 times mgh will be 2 times mgh, and this is plus 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times mv squared is mv squared. Now I have an equal to in between two fractions, then I cross multiply. Now if I cross multiply, I have 2 mgh plus mv squared is equal to E multiplied by 2. So let me just say 2E. Alright, so now I have 2 mgh, so adding mv squared is equal to 2E. Now there's an addition here because it is plus 2 mgh. So I can easily say mv squared is equal to 2E, then this is plus 2 mgh. I think that it becomes minus 2 mgh. Hope you're not confused by the jumping. This is plus, it is not multiplied, it's addition. So I have to do the inverse in both sides. So I subtract it from here, I subtract it from here. Easy, right? Let's not be confused. Let's take it easy. Alright, let's continue. Now, I can now divide both sides by m. So if I divide here by m and divide here by m cancel m, and I'll have v squared is equal to 2e minus 2 mgh all over m. No. This is not my final answer. What I was asked to make this subject of formula is v. But here I have v squared. Another trick. When you have a square and you want to remove the square, or you want to cancel that square, just take the square root of both sides. And if you have a square root and you want to cancel that square root, just take the square of both sides. But does that really work? Is that really correct? Let's try a question. If 100 is square and I want to remove the square root, I want to remove the square root. Okay, let me use the square since I'm working with the square now. So if 10 is squared and I want to remove the square from 10, and I said I put the square root. Now, is the square of 10 the square root of the square of 10? Will it give me 10? Let's try it. Now, 10 squared is 100, and the square root of 100 is 10. So you see, it works. So I can easily say this square cancel the square root. So we can do the same thing here now. Now, if I put, alright, let me just do something like this. Alright. So if I put a square root here and put a square root here, this square root has the ability to cancel this square. So my v will then be equal to the square root of 2e minus 2 into mgh all over m. And that is v. It's tricky. It has more steps, but don't worry about it. Just follow the basic step and you are okay with it. Now let's try number 4 that has square roots. Permit me to clean this place up. Alright, so number 4. So we have k is equal to the square root of L square over 12 plus R square over 4. Now, many people make the mistake of wanting to cancel this square, want to cancel this square and this square root. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to multiply, or you have to square everything here and square everything here for this square root to go. So you do this square and this is square. Well, this square can cancel this square root. So you have k square is equal to L square over 12 plus R square over 4. What am I going to do here? Yes, you're correct. I have to do addition of fraction. So my k square will be equal to my LCM of 12 and 4 is 12. 12 into 12 is 1. 1 times L square is L square plus 4 into 12 is 3. 3 times R root 2 is 3 R square. Alright, so here I can now cross multiply. And if I do this, I have L square plus 3R square will be equal to 12k square. Okay, so now I can do the inverse of plus 3R square. So L square becomes 12k square minus 3R square. Remember, when the plus crosses, it becomes minus. Now, I have a square here. I'm looking for L square and I'm looking for L. So I have to do the square root of both sides. So if I do the square root of both sides, this one cancels this. So L becomes the root of 2 into brackets k square minus 3 into brackets R square. And that is your final answer. Alright, at this point, as usual, you should pause the video. I want you to pause the video and try out number 5 question. Please note, this is I, capital letter I. So let's see what to do. So capital letter I is equal to capital letter V over capital letter arrow plus arrow. Make capital letter arrow the subject of formula. Alright, I know you've done yours. Now, let's see. This is I is equal to V over arrow plus arrow. Now, here we cross multiply. It gives us this. So we have I into brackets arrow plus arrow is equal to V. Now, this is I multiply, so we can do I divided by I, and this I cancels. So we have arrow plus arrow is equal to V over I. Now, if we take arrow to the other side, plus arrow to the other side, so it gives us arrow is equal to V over I minus arrow. And that is our answer. So if you got it correctly, well done. But if not, don't worry about it. Just go over the whole process again in the video and you will get it. I promise you, you will get it. So thank you very much for joining us in today's session. If you have loved what we do here, please do not fail to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. And if you want us to solve any other question relating to change of letter formula or something else, please do not fail to put it in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.